А сега давам думата на професор Лејла Накаш от Универзитета в Сараjеву с доклада й Current Issues of Identification and Description of Manuscript Босненско сборниче.
Thank you very much. Dear friends, I must say this because I would like to express my gratitude to your library and especially to Antoinette Lesenska, who provided me by facsimiles of the miscellany Boсненско сборниче, year 2015, when Forum Bosna published all the text of this book within the Apocrypha that is subject of my exposition today. Apocrypha about creation of the world, Početje svijeta, was published by Jordan Ivanov at first, but it was considered unique without parallels with other apocryphal texts without significant parallels. The legend of the creation of the world from the Plovdiv miscellany, whose Bosnian origins are accepted, reveals textual parallels with the questions of John at the secret dinner. At first, the serpent that tempted Adam and Eve is human-like. Its name is the beautiful maiden. It walks on its tail. Second, it poured out sinful lust onto Adam's head. Third, Nathanael, before he fell, was in a privileged position at the invisible Father. The model for this passage was symbolical description of the king of Tyre, fall from Ezekiel 28. And fourth, unusual detail in the questions of John, namely that the Latin text hides a mistaken translation whereby the Slavonic word for the stalk of the vine, thers, has been replaced with the Latin equivalent of the Old Slavic word thirst or reed. The theme of the stalk of the vine as the source of sin is common to the Apocalypse of Baruch and the Bosnian legend in which is mentioned that God, having planted trees with his angels in heaven, and that each angel planted its own tree, Satan planted the stalk of the vine. The Bosnian legend also contains several textual similarities with apocryphal legend of the Sea of the Tiberias, but also big differences. In the Apocrypha of Tiberias, of the Sea of the Tiberias, unbegotten God, the invisible Father, creates Christ, the Holy Spirit, and the heavenly lights. Heaven itself and the earth and the Sea of Tiberias. He then descends onto the sea and talks with Satan, whom he therefore didn't create, and who is in the form of a loan. God asks Satan to dive down to get a stone, which he then breaks in two, giving the piece in his left hand to Satan. God creates from his right hand archistrategoi, archangels, and angels, while Nathanael creates numberless host of rats. The Lord places Nathanael as commander over all the angels, seeing that he has been so honored by God, and that all the angels respect him, Nathanael becomes arrogant and comes to consider himself equal to God. The common theme to the two apocryphal texts is the motive of pride as the cause of Nathanael's fall, rather than envy of Adam. In this legend of Tiberias Sea, however, Nathanael creates an ape of the father as imitator patris, a point it has in common with the questions of John at the secret dinner. In the Bosnian legend, he simply sits down on the throne of the All-High, from which he is then ejected by Archangel Michael, along with the angels who served him. In the version of the legend of the Sea of Tiberias, he is called Nathanael, just like in the Bosnian legend. Both stories are inspired by Isaiah chapter 14, while the Bosnian version used the title Lucipetar for the light bearer associated to that verse 14:12. Textual similarities in the presentation of his fall and that of his angels is important. They take up their station wherever they happen to be when they remember of the Lord, so that some fell beneath the earth, other onto the earth, and others again are stationed under the heaven. The next similarity between two legends is that after Nathanael's fall, God created Adam to make up for the lost part of heavenly host. Variant of the legend of Tiberian Sea from Grigorovich manuscripts contain, as the Bosnian legend, story on how many parts God created Adam, secondary derived from the apocryphal Adam oxypartite. So Bosnian version breaks after the third element, Adam's mind was created from angelic speed. One leaf from the Quinion here is lost since Nathanael fall preceded Adam's creation. A narrative problem arises insofar as, having been expelled, he had no access to the garden where Adam and Eve were. Satan entered paradise by being swallowed by a snake who brought him, so that he spoke through the snake. But in Bosnian legend, he turned himself into snake with maiden's head. It would appear that the wine allowed him to approach to the boundary of the garden, so he could talk with Eve. According to the content of the Bosnian legend on the genesis of the world, God is creator of everything, visible and invisible. He is creator of this world. For the dualism of Bosnian Christianity, there were two principles, but not two creators. The apparent ruler of this world is Satan, the prince of this life, who rules by stimulating pride, lust for luxury in the sons of this world. They are contrasted to the people of God in glosses of Brutok and Srečković Gospels. Thank you, and sorry for my English.
Thank you very much, Professor Nakash.